Bo, are you gonna come out? Cletus, you gotta come for a walk with me. Hey, Bo. So I haven't been live for a couple of weeks, and I thought it's a nice day. It is hot, but it's not too hot. It's like high 20s here. It has been extremely hot in the past couple of weeks, but I thought I'd just update what's going on around here. And I'm gonna start by showing you my car. I don't know if you guys can see, because it's got a little bit of dirt from the wind blowing the sand around here, but yeah, my hi Jovita. My daughter borrowed my car because her and her aunt went down to the States on a shopping trip, and she didn't take this car anywhere but her aunt's place. And wouldn't you know, the night they were down in Fargo, there was a hailstorm that came through near the Winnipeg area, and my car got hit. And so now I'm in the process of going through insurance. They listed my car as marginal. They're estimating the cost to fix all these dents. I don't know how well they're showing up on the camera, but they're estimating a cost of $8,500 to fix this car. And that's, it's actually, they told me, it's cheaper to get a new hood versus trying to get the dents out. But on the roof of the car, and it might be hard to see because there's a film of sand on here. But they would do paintless dent removal on top. Oh, so you can see them, Jovita. I didn't know how well it would show up. But yeah, like, I don't know. This is my baby. I don't get to drive her very often, and I only license her over the summer, so she's never driven in the winter. And of course, I have the run flat tires on her, and I do need new tires, but if this car is going to be written off, there's no use in getting new tires because those are quite the expense. It's at least $500 or $600 per tire because they are the run flat. But I thought I'd show you the dents on the car, and then I would show you what I bought in the car. There it is. That's my sink. Yeah, I do have to wait and see. If they say that it's going to cost too much to repair it, they're going to write it off because it's listed as marginal right now. Hi, R. Oki. But anyway, I bought myself a sink, and we haven't moved it out of the car because it is so heavy. And I have to get my kitchen cleaned out and ready. I need to build some kind of cupboard underneath it because I made my cupboards. There's nothing there. It's just an open box where the sink is supposed to be. So I've got to get the measurements, get some wood, and build something in there. Hi, Madwood. Hi, Rebecca. Oh, did I miss Kent already? I could hear all the dogs barking in the house. Ah, Daddy Dutch did come in. Sorry I missed you there, but hello and welcome in. But I just thought I'd show you what's going on around here. For about a month, I've been training those horses, so my trailer's turned around. I hauled my horses half an hour away to the vet. Had an appointment. She had called me ahead of time to let me know it's peak fly season, that I shouldn't be castrating them during the summer. And I said, yes, I understand that. I have also had the two boys that I have out here. I did castrate them in the summer, and it was okay. And they made it through. And she waited until I went all the way out there with the horses to say that she wasn't going to do it. And so I was upset, and I hauled them home. So I made the trip for nothing, but I found a better vet, and he's going to come here in a couple days. But this is what else I've been doing. I got a load of hay. I don't know if you guys can see, but this is what happened to my grass. I've got nothing but sand. I always said I live on top of one big sand dune. Hi, Gary and Mary. I haven't had rain in a good month and everything is dried up. If I pan off into the distance and you see green, it's probably mostly weeds. Or it might be some short grass. Like this is my yard. This is my fire pit here. I've got one patch of grass, like this, it's like a circle of grass that survived. But I haven't had to mow lawn and I haven't bothered to start the lawnmower up to cut down the weeds. It's kind of a lost cause. Yes, Aoki, it's pretty bad this year. I'm thinking I've lived here for 17 years. Last year was really bad. I don't know. This year we started out dry. May, June was pretty dry. Then we got some rain maybe in the beginning of July. But yeah, and actually I almost had I don't know what you would call it, a catastrophe. This yard, I had an old mattress, a box spring that my son had given me, and I left it out in the yard because who cares? Nobody comes to visit me. And I decided to burn it come spring, and I threw it on the fire pit, except the box spring is bigger than the fire pit, and the box spring has that cardboard on top of the little boards that it's made out of, and that dropped down to the grass, and I thought, well, you know, let's burn around the fire pit and that way the fire won't take off. Well, the fire got so big because the grass was so dry that I had to go running for water. I kind of was yelling at my daughter, but she couldn't hear me because she had her gaming headphones on. And it was the cats that alerted her because the cats were acting funny. So she decided to take her headphones off and she just peeked her head out the door, and I told her grab a pail because I was running with a pail. The garden hose didn't reach out here at that point because I hadn't fixed them. But anyway, this whole lawn burnt out and I had to trim these trees down. By the time I got the water, the fire was right on this edge here and it was starting to, the grass was taller here, but it reached up to these branches and it kind of fried some of them. Like you can still see that a little bit of orange, but I mean, if these would have caught fire, my whole place would have been up in smoke. What did Gary say there? At least you're not on fire other than yeah. Well, you know what, it wasn't burning this way too bad, but it was taking off that way. And actually what saved me too is this dog path. The fire burnt up to it and stopped. And we were able to dump enough water on this end of it that it didn't go any further. And then so after that, the donkey's been climbing through the fences. This is where the fire pit used to be. I don't know if you guys can see it because I'm not seeing it very well. Right where Bo is laying down. The donkey comes and rolls in here. The ashes, I don't know if they keep the bugs away, but these trees used to be so tiny when we moved in here that it was okay to have a fire pit here, and I only had a small one. But as the trees got bigger and bigger, I've had to move the fire pit further and further away. And then I just took some field rocks and made a huge one. Because I used to have one of those little square cast iron pits. Oh, this is gonna be hard to see. I guess with the more the phone warms up, the blacker it goes. So I have two choices. I'm either battling the cold in the winter, walking with you guys, or the heat of the summer. I don't know, can you see Donkey there? I thought I'd go show you guys how I got the land surveyed, but it feels windy out here. Maybe we'll turn around and go back to the Colts, see if we're out of the wind there. Because right now, the screen looks really dark to me. Hi, Tinkerbell. I think a lot more people are coming in that I can't see because the screen has gone so black. The animals never stop for the camera. They just want to walk right past it. I think somebody put Redbird's link in it. Did she come in? If so, hello, Brenda. All right. So thankfully I've got a person who has hay, and I told him my tractor still isn't fixed, and he brought the first load. He filled his trailer up half with bales and the other half was his tractor. And then he went home and he got more bales. He left his tractor here so he could unload them. I guess he's got a second one at home that he could load his trailer with. And right now I got 21 bales, and that is half the amount I need for the year. But because the grass is dried up, I'll show you what these guys are doing. They've reached over and they're eating. I was gonna throw them hay, but once they busted one bale open, I thought, well, they can stand there and eat like that. I need to get out of this wind. Well, I'm just happy they got something to eat now. But you'll see them in the evening. They'll take off to the pasture. Even though there's barely any grass, they're still nibbling on something. They just like to roam and eat that grass on the ground versus having a bale in front of them. Yes, true. Who said that? I'm having a problem. I put my shades on so I wouldn't be squinting, and now I can't see the comments good. Yes, Brenda is here. Hello, Brenda. Oh, it was Aoki that said that. Sorry. Try to catch up on the comments here. Yes, it's a lot of hay, Jovita, but 21 bales. If I want to bring my stud and mares home, I'm going to guess I need about 50 because I bought 20 some last year. I think it was 22 or 24. I can't remember the total. So knowing that I have 5 more horses to come here and I have 3 colts, I don't plan on keeping those colts. I want to keep them at least for a year, get them halter broke, and then I could sell them. And like, this isn't a for sure thing, but the guy I sold hay to's got kids and they want horses, and I said, you know, I would barter. I would trade a horse for hay because hay is not cheap. But you know, I'm willing to pay that price if you can haul it here and unload it for me. I'm just walking up to the tractor here to show you. This thing has been sitting here. This is when I started or stopped doing my lives because my dad would be out here pretty much every weekend. I think he's been here about 6 or 7 times. And we had this whole thing broken down. Oh, hi, Wiley and Jen. So I may not be able to do it on my own, but I know exactly what we did. We had all of this. I actually helped him put the tank back on last time. So I know where, if you call it the clutch wheel or whatever, that is what was broken, and we replaced it. And so my dad started the tractor up, but he had to bypass the wiring. This tractor has always had a problem with the wiring, and that's why I had to disconnect the battery. Because you guys, if you watch my old vehicle or videos, you saw the tractor start on its own. So the only thing that is preventing me from using this tractor right now is the wiring. The wiring's got to get fixed, and she should be good to go again. And of course we have to put that crazy heavy thing back on the front of the tractor, and then there's a couple metal pieces covering that has to go back on. But that chair right there is usually where I sat waiting for my dad to tell me he needs help with a certain something, because I know nothing about fixing vehicles. So, but this monstrosity of a thing, I've already set the bed up in the front. I don't know if I'll ever use it overnight somewhere, but there's room enough in that front end for a bed, so I put a mattress in there. Got some practice hauling it down the road. Right there, I want to get a decal, the Cottonwood leaf with the CR horseshoe on it. I want to put it in that big white spot. But yeah, the only thing that's alive on my lawn here are weeds. The grass, this used to be thick green grass, and it's just all gone. And then, yes, Jovita, I paid a pretty penny for it. It is on financing, and I'll be paying for it. Hopefully not in the full 10 years, but I am on a 10-year plan. But I think it was worth it, because I don't think I should ever need another trailer. It's kind of, hi Mama V. I'm going by what other people are saying because it's really hard for me to see. Junk to Gem is Mary and Gary. And you guys, you're all going to be living in the same area soon. Hi, John. So, the big reason I needed that hay too, I'm going to show you right away by walking out to the horses. I'm so glad they finally got a bale. They busted it up before I could get the feeder around it, but they should end up cleaning up the stuff around the ground. But that's why you need a feeder, right? Because they'll just tear it down and then they lay in it. I'll show you. I've never seen this pasture as bad as it is this year. You guys let me know. Oh, I can see the camera very good now, or the phone, because I'm in the shade. Typically, for my horses, if they go to the bathroom in a spot, they won't go eat that grass. They'll be fussy eaters. So in every year that I've lived here, I'll have patches of big long green grass. This year, I've never seen my pasture the way it is. This section you're seeing right now in the middle between the two dogs usually was foot-tall green grass that they wouldn't eat. And this is what my ground is like now. I don't have a blade of grass anywhere. Yeah, that's my alleyway that I want to change a bit, but it gives them access to this pasture here that I don't think I have one blade of grass in there. All this green in front of you, I think they call that goose's foot, also known as wild spinach. But if you're going to eat this stuff, you eat it when it's tiny. I guess they call it that. Let's see if I get one of the grasshoppers are eating the leaves, but the leaves resemble a goose's foot. And then this is tumbleweed. This will dry up and start blowing around my yard by fall time. Hi, Simon. Well, there's the boys. I don't know what they're eating. Hi, Possum Outdoors. Lots of familiar faces coming in today. So the other thing, I was going to show you guys my property line because I did get the surveyors out. I got a line of credit and I've been blowing money like crazy. That's why I got the sink. I got my property surveyed. I got the hay coming in. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's a red-tailed hawk in the air. I can hear him screaming right now. So I got it surveyed. When I did my fence line where Jack and Rain, where I started out, I had done that by foot and with a compass with my father. And actually the hawk is right in the cottonwood tree right now. He just sat on one of the top branches. I know it's hard to see, but it's cool to hear him, that piercing cry. I was only off on my fence line by 1 foot in one area, but that fence line has to be redone anyway, so it'll be corrected. And now I know where my northwest corner is. I've always talked about, yeah, it would be nice to have a dugout there. I've contacted the guys for making a dugout, and they are going to stop in one day to take a look at it, because they were saying they charge around an average of about $2.20 an hour, depending on what kind of equipment you need. And I know it will be doable for me to get it done. I just don't know that I can get it done before winter this year. I might have to wait till next year, just because I'm spending so much money on the fencing. And the fencing that I'm buying is, I call it a page wire. It is a, I don't know, when people have goats, the kind of fence that they put up with the squares in it, it's called a farm fence. While I was doing some research on it, and the way they put the wires on, there's a hinge, there's a square knot, and there's a fixed knot. And the strongest fence is a fixed knot, and it's also the most expensive fencing. But I've also read that a fixed knot stands up to snowstorms, and I have a lot of snow coming through on the north end of my property. So I am going to spend a lot now and hope that I don't ever have to do it again. So I have been working with Tyrone. He's getting quieter. He's about, I don't know, I have it written down somewhere. He's between 10 and 12 years old. So he actually responded really well to doing round pen work. I can't really walk up to him and just throw a halter on him, but he will walk in the barn and let me do it. So I just got to keep working with him. I kind of took a break with trying to get the boys working on the trailer, but I have to get back to it. But Rip has become quite quiet. I can't race up to him and have him stand there, but you can walk up to him slowly. Here's my weeds. They say this is evening primrose. It's got some cool flowers on it, but it's nothing edible for the horses. And then Casey's gonna get his feet done in a couple days. We've been working on picking up his feet, and he's really good. And this guy, I've noticed, his coloring is what you call a red dun. He's gonna walk away from me because I wanted to show you. He's got these markings on his body. I've never seen that on a horse yet. But let's see if I can get a close-up here. Oh, now he's gonna stick his face in. They're wondering if I got treats, and I want to show you Rip's legs because he's got the tiger striping on it. And his mom is a typical dun. She's got the black mane and the caramel color body, and you can see the stripes on her legs. But because the mom was bred to my stud, which is a sorrel, he came out as a red dun. So he's got the back stripe, and let's see if I can peek over. No, I can't peek over him. Let's try and go underneath Casey. Does that show up? Can you guys see the stripes on his legs? I'm holding the camera exactly under Casey's belly right now. But if I could go around to the other side of Rip, I'll show you what I mean by, I thought he was sweating all the time. Do you guys see those dark marks on him? It's like he's got body stripes. Hey, thanks, Possum. And I was wondering if Rip was the part zebra or something, because I've never seen brindling. There we go. I've never seen that on a horse, except don't know every horse in the world. And I tried to Google some pictures and I couldn't find. So, hi Jan. I thought it was cool. He's definitely unique. And then Casey has got those bend-over marks on him. You've seen a Mustang with it. That's cool. Casey looks a little bit underweight, but you gotta remember he's just a teenager right now. So, and who wants to eat in the heat, right? But I can't wait to see him fill out. So what else can I show you guys? I'll go show you how bad the grass is out here and what they keep going to. Yes, Aoki, definitely. And that I remember the first time I had a colt, which is their grandfather, Rip's grandfather, was the dun. And that's how I have the mare that's a dun. He's the one that passed away. He's the one that blew up and went into fence wire and snapped his leg. But I'm glad that I still have his genetics. I wasn't on him when he took off. I was just leading him. I was actually leading him and Jack. And I decided the best thing for me to do was just to let go of their leads. And when I let go, Jack kind of ran ahead, but then he turned and looked back at me. And Trip, which was that horse's name, he took off and he went out of sight. And all I heard was the screech. So he's actually buried on my property, very close to where he had his accident. But this is my grass. There's nothing here. And that's why I needed those hay bales so bad. Oh, I can hear my dogs barking off in the distance. And these guys are so good. They follow me everywhere. They probably do want food, and they probably think I'm gonna give them food, but oh. It's a beautiful day for a walk. Hopefully, hi Rim. Hopefully you guys aren't getting too much wind on the mic. Let me know. Okay, I have to take my shades off to be able to see these remarks. Jan, I paid $75 for the bale. And those bales are good bales. There's a lot of alfalfa in them. And they say, no, don't feed your horse pure alfalfa. I don't know if they're pure alfalfa, but it is a second cut. I find that if I give my horses alfalfa like that, they just eat less. The bale lasts longer. And they're still getting, like in the winter, it's not a problem. That it's fueling them to keep warm. But here's the thing. To have it delivered and dropped in my yard is another $30. So the bale is costing me $105. But what do you do when you don't have a good working tractor? Right. Yeah, Aoki, I think I would worry more if in the winter my horses were skinny. Um, and I mean their backbone isn't sticking out. It's just on the side that you see their ribs a bit. But like I said, in the summer, you're not going to start eating a lot because you're going to be producing that heat, right? And that's why people ask me, well, why don't you blanket your horses in the winter? Well, if I blanket them, it prevents them from growing the fur that keeps them warm. And the way they keep warm is by keeping their belly full. I'm just going back to see. Hi, Tiny Farm Nuggets. There's an awesome crowd in here today. Thank you guys for coming in. I was thinking about it. YouTube is like being on a diet. You gotta be consistent to be successful. And I've had appointments, I've had the insurance problems with the vehicles. Not only did my car get hit by hail, May long weekend, which is the weekend before, well, it was the same weekend as the Oki meetup. On Monday, I had to travel to Grand Forks, North Dakota to pick up my daughter because she was at her boyfriend's and she decided to travel by train. So the train arrived at 5 a.m. So I had to leave my home at about 2 a.m. At 3 a.m. in the morning, I've never witnessed this in my life. I had a coyote coming from the driver's side, perpendicular to the vehicle, running at top speed. And I only caught a glance of him once he came into the headlights, which is the edge of the highway. And I freaked because I've never seen any animal run head on into a vehicle. So I kind of tried to go to the other lane because you could avoid a vehicle or a collision. If you don't turn to where they're going, you turn to where they've been. And what happened is the coyote got smucked. He hit my passenger side fog light and the bottom bumper, like that goes around the fog light. It's not actually metal. It's just some kind of chrome colored plastic. And so that was dented. So I have to get my car and my truck fixed, but the truck is not a problem. Insurance pays for wildlife damage. Yeah, you know, I don't mind my temps that I've been having. We're not as hot as, of course, we'll never be as hot as what Texas is. But, oh, I'm distracted because of what I see in front of me. It's a good thing I'm going for these walks. But we need rain, is what I'm trying to say. Because I've never seen the grass disappear this much. I didn't know my fence was down here. I need to fix this. I don't know how do you snap the bottom wire and not the top one? I don't know. Unless a horse stuck his foot in there and then had problems pulling it out. But I want to correct this line. I don't know if you can see how the trees are pretty straight and then it kind of takes an angle to include the cottonwood tree. I want to change the fence so that it goes straight this way and makes the pasture a rectangle. And then it'll open up the cottonwood tree. I was thinking it'd be cool to have a bench under there just so if I went for a walk, I could sit under it. And it would also open the lane for the tractor to come with the hay bind. Because right now it's kind of a tight corner. Yeah, who said that? Brenda. I would need rain every second day to keep my grass green here. So when it doesn't rain for a couple of weeks and we get the amount of grasshoppers that we've had, it just kills everything. Like like this grass has not been open to the horses. Look how thin it is. It's like half eaten by the grasshoppers. I did come and mow this because I wanted to make my track again, the one that I used to run on. I don't think I'll ever run again because my joints are getting too old for that, but I would like to do walking around this track. But I'm just walking you guys out to my hay pasture, which, not pasture, hay field. Usually I have it cut by now, and it's not cut because the tractor's not fixed and I'm waiting for my dad. But this is the poorest I've ever seen my hay field. So I do square bales, and compared to when I first came here, there was one year I got 500 squares out of here. And looking at this now, knowing that last year I was in the 300s, and look at how bad it is. I don't even know if I'll get 200 bales out of this. Like the alfalfa is still okay, but you can see that it's eaten out by the grasshoppers. And I'm sure I could have had more hay had it been cut already. But the reason it's not cut is because the tractor's not fixed. Brett, if this is Brett, I don't know, or Deborah. In 17 years, I've done nothing to this field. And this is the worst I've ever seen it. The fact that we didn't have hay in the beginning of spring, or rain in the beginning of spring, the fact that the grasshoppers exploded in population, it just killed it. But my dad always said that I should, you guys can't even see to the edge of the property because there's hills here. I guess I could walk. I don't know, too many thoughts and I just forgot what I was saying. I don't know if you look at my past videos of I would take pictures or a video of my dad cutting the hay. It's so different. Oh, I know what I was saying. My dad suggested that I just fence in my whole property because I have to feed hay right now anyway. So if this was cut, I wouldn't have purchased those bales right now. I'd be throwing my own bales to the horses. So if I have to feed hay on a dry here anyway, I could have all this fenced in, and then maybe the smaller areas wouldn't be overgrazed. Yeah. Yeah. Is that Jerry? Oh, that's Brett there. If you were here, this isn't pretty. It looks pretty because it's just this big green expanse, but it's dry. Did Saxon come in? Hello? But yeah, so I walked up a bit, and now you can see better to the end. But you still, I would have to show you, there's a deep ravine at the back. This is the ravine that I would walk through where all these young trees are coming up. That's where I would take you guys snowshoeing in the winter. But there's still some blossoms on the alfalfa. So it might make sense. I could make 2 tracks, like 2 pastures on my 80 acres, right? From where Rain and Jack are right now, I could extend that fence all the way to the back and put my mare and studs there. And if this was all fenced in, I wouldn't have to worry about cutting hay every year. I'm gonna have to buy hay no matter what if I want to maintain the horses that I have right now. I don't plan on ever getting newer ones or external horses. I do plan to keep breeding my mares, although one mare is getting old and she's not gonna be foaling very much longer. So really I'd only have 2 mares having foals. But I have the 5 geldings and the donkey. But if all this was fenced in, they could be grazing this all summer, and I would only have to buy hay for the winter. Plus, this would last longer into the fall too. Brett. So, and I found out that my property line is somewhere in the middle of these trees every 100 meters, which is approximately 330 feet. There is a stake. And I thought, I'm not even gonna worry about this side of the property. It is a potato farmer on the other side. So there's no dogs that my dogs could get in trouble with. And I thought, when the foliage drops in the fall and I've got my little saker saw, I could start making a clearer path. I have no idea how I'm gonna get that fence in there. And I don't have the money for the whole perimeter this year anyway. But eventually one day I'm gonna be dragging that fence in there. Because that was part of the dream, right? To have a perimeter fence. And then I could be out walking wherever I want to be with my dogs. I don't know if you guys saw Cletus in the beginning. Cletus has porked up quite a bit. If he was a 100-pound dog before, I bet you he's pushing 120 right now, which isn't good for him. But I just can't, I can't even make him run anymore because he's so overweight. And it's all been since I've had to coop them up. Well, the grass still is green. It's just very thin compared to past years. Like the alfalfa is a good height. I still see the blooms on it, but the grass in between is way too short. And it's not thick at all. And so somebody's coming. The dogs love it. And Bo's still kicking around. He's become such an old man though. 2011, I think it was, when we got him. So he was born spring 2011, which makes him 12. The oldest dog I've ever had was 14 years old, so, and that's Cooter. Yeah, they're tiny little, who said that? Was that Deborah or Brett? Tiny little purple flowers. So I don't know if these are the best samples of it because the grasshoppers are eating everything. But here, let's pick. I'll try and show it better. Where is it? Focus. It's like very tiny little flowers that make up one that looks like a big flower, but it's just a bunch of little ones together. It's not focusing very nice on that. But yeah, that's an alfalfa blossom. I wonder. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and cut down in the ravine. I don't think I'm going to be on here more than an hour, but I know I'd be out of the wind. Oh, and look at this alfalfa's got some white blossoms on it. Yeah, Jan, honestly, I'm thinking there is a temperature difference between here and Texas, but because we're, like if you draw a line straight down, we're right above Texas. We're the same type of, I don't know what you call it, climate. Like we're dry, we're so dry here. The only difference between us and them is well, the temperature extremes, but we get snow and they don't. But I mean, in the summer, it's like Arizona type conditions in my yard. So I'm gonna head down here to see. I know 2 years ago when I started my YouTube channel, I kind of walked the property and showed, oh look, I do have black-eyed Susans, but that's what happens to them. The grasshoppers eat all the leaves off. Did the pole shift? Brett, we don't have poles on a flat earth. What was I saying? The flowers that I discovered, they're called false sunflowers. I wonder if this is what they call the goldenrod. Who knows what goldenrod looks like? Oh, there's probably an Asian one, but those ladybugs on there. Do you guys know if that's goldenrod? Oh, Vita, my grass is 4 shades of burnt. And I don't know what these are. I'm sure it's a weed. The grasshopper took all the leaves off, but these flowers are cool. Yes, yarrow. I do have that app, but I can't use that app when I'm on a live. But exactly where I'm walking, I used to drive my truck down here. And now I can't anymore because all these trees came up in my way. But I would bring my truck out here because Bo would keep finding skunks. And I've trapped a couple. And I've taken care of a couple. But I mean, it was getting to the point where I was always catching one. So I just gave up on it and kind of like, if you don't see them, they don't exist. But then Bo always likes to meet up with them. Oh, not smart. I came out, I've got shorts on and runners. And this is all poison ivy in here. But, oh well, I'll just have to suck it up if I get a rash later. Somebody's been in here. Oh, there's Cletus. Just moseying on down. He doesn't run for anything anymore. Or if he does, it's like a trot because he can't run fast. But there's kind of some tall grass in the shade, but it almost looks like somebody's been laying in this area. I only have 3 dogs out right now. So the dogs you're seeing are the same ones over and over. I'm trying to find a path where I'm not hitting a bunch of poison ivy. Although I have found when I start getting the itch from poison ivy, because no matter what, the dogs go through and they carry it on their fur, the oil or whatever. There's this cheap lotion from Walmart and it's got chamomile in it or something like that. And I find that if I use that lotion, eventually the itch gets taken away. But I didn't have to go far to find these flowers. Although these ones are different. I've never seen these ones. What was that last comment? These ones here, no, that almost looks like a black-eyed Susan. It's kind of dried up. But I think these are the ones they call my what is it? Picture this. The one that identifies plants. says that these are false sunflowers. And I don't know what this washout is from. If this is, it's hard to see, but this is kind of like a sunken in area. I don't know if it's when the snow melts, comes off the land and it runs through this area. But there you go. The grasshoppers have eaten some of it. But I would like to take some of those flowers and put them, look at how fat this guy is. He's got a dimple right at his tail head because he's just got no more room for the storage. I would like to take these flowers to my yard because every year I spend a couple $100 on flowers, and I just don't want to spend money on annuals anymore. I want to get some wildflowers growing and then I'll never have to plant again. But I stopped for a second to show you. This is where I would snowshoe through the big ravine. It looks so much different. I'm going the opposite way, of course. I'm turning around to see where that pine tree is. I can't even see it because of all the poplars in the way. And there's a path through here, which I know my dogs did not create this alone. They're following the deer that come through here. This is different. I don't know what kind of flower that is. It's hard to focus on it. It looks really, really cool though. Almost like a half fireweed. Yeah, Jan, that's the smart thing to do, right? Because if they take, you never have to buy them again. It's so hard to see anything but trees right now. But honestly, look at all the poison ivy here. Thankfully, the deer have made a path through here because there's no poison ivy really on the path. That's awesome, Aoki. And there's these same birch trees. Remember, if you were with me on my snowshoe, I was like, wow, I've got birch trees. Oh, you know what? I don't know what this grass is, but I would love to take, like somebody's trampled this grass, but the grass is almost like it's purple. I would love to have a couple of clumps of these at the end of a flower bed that is full of the flowers that grow on the property. Does anyone know what that kind of grass is? Like, it's everywhere here in smaller clumps. But it's almost like it's got a purple-ish, reddish grass blade. Oh, that's cool, Aoki. Yeah, I guess I'll never have a vehicle down here again, but I need to bring that Saker saw that I have and ensure that a narrow path, even if I want to take my garden tractor through here, because I don't want this to close up completely. I want to have a trail through here. There's that group of flowers. So 2 years ago when I started my channel, I kind of did this is my place. And I came out here, and when I first moved here, these flowers were not here. But I guess the water melting, the snow melting in the spring has washed some seeds here. There's a bigger, look at that grass blade, that is so cool. I'd love to have purple grass growing in my yard. Check out all the flowers. So these are what that app calls false sunflowers. I don't know what their binomial nomenclature is, but they're so cool. I'm just looking, I discovered some little pink flowers here. I don't know what this is. Obviously, it's some kind of weed. That doesn't look good right there. It almost looks like it would be itchy. Try and step over that and not get brushed up on that. But look at how cool this is. This whole area has them growing in here. And there, yes, Jan, amongst all the other things that I need to do, like this has gotta be at least 50 feet by 50 feet, this area. And it's just all these flowers. And so, Jovita, what do you call them? Because the app just tells me that they're called false sunflowers. And they're not black-eyed Susans. Well, first off, the center isn't black, and I've never seen black-eyed Susans grow. Like, these plants are about 3 and 4 feet tall. But I love them. If I could, I would plant this all the way around my house. Because my favorite flower is a daisy. This is just a yellow version of it. There's a bee over here. Let's see if I can get close. Looks like a bumblebee. This is so cool. There he is. Some of you gardeners out there, it's called purple grass. That's awesome. I love that I have it. So some of you who are good with flowers and plants, I should be able to just take a couple of these heads and they would have seeds in them, would they not? And just try and plant, like, because I know sure you can dig up the plant, but it would be so much easier if I could just take seeds and then they were viable and they grew in my yard. But let's keep going. It's also easier to see the comments here because I'm kind of in a shaded area. I'm wondering if this is stinging nettles. I don't know. Try it? Yes. Like I haven't done a lot of physical work on the farm this summer. I've been working with the colts and I've been buying materials and running around to appointments, like I said, with insurance. I've also had some health checkups, things like that, just typical maintenance. But I mean, you get one appointment and your whole day is done. Trying to navigate through more poison ivy here. Yeah, there's a lot of the purple grass in between the poison ivy. Sorry if I miss a comment. Because I'm looking down, trying not to. On rose bushes, you know, My daughter and I were at Canadian Tire, which is a type of hardware store, I guess. It's kind of, sells everything. And they had flowers out, and they had the most beautiful roses. And you got to be careful though, because it was zone 4 roses being sold in Canada, and we're in zone 3. And all you could do was have them. You'd have to treat it like an annual. You wouldn't have them except for this year. I'm gonna guess this is a ant pile. Not gonna disturb it. Oh good, I wouldn't feel bad about chopping these trees down because this one's dead anyway. Maybe not the top, but kind of looks diseased on the bottom. That's a different kind of poplar. I've never seen that so dense in the branches on the bottom. That's weird. But I could easily come and cut these poplars down now. I don't have to use elbow grease because of that saw. I just hit the 60-minute mark too. I know I started just before 12. I don't want to run over the MT time, but I can't see the time on my camera right now. I got some good traffic going in here because that path is pretty well laid out. If somebody could tell me the time, that would be great. Because if what I would like to do is maybe just get out of this ravine, show you where my back corner of the property is, and then I can say goodbye from there. Look at the flowers. I've walked quite a distance. Can you see them through the bush? They're all through underneath behind the poplar trees. They're just running down the whole ravine here. That is so cool. Like, I mean, my dogs didn't do this. And last night I was doing chores. It was probably 9:30, so it's getting dark. And all of a sudden, 15 minutes till 2 o'clock. Okay, hopefully I'm out of here and gone by the time they start. Look how cool that is. Will it focus? I have no idea what this is, but you can't see the details of it like I can. There's a whole bunch of tiny, tiny little flowers on it. Oh, it looks so cool. I talk about too many things at once and then I forget what I was talking about. Oh, the coyotes. They weren't on my property, but I'm outside and all of a sudden I hear somebody scream. It's like a woman being stabbed or something. And you get it's like a siren going off. And then all of a sudden you hear them howling. So I know it's coyotes because I know what their howls are like. But the way they start that group howl is just crazy. Oh, look how cool this is. Here's a path. My dogs are not out here this much to create this path. Somebody else is creating it. But in the distance, all that yellow is all those flowers. This is so cool. But I want to head this way because I want to get out of... This is what I need to trim. So I don't have to push on branches to get through here. And then if I could just go once with my lawnmower, I have a path that I could walk on. If I want to wear shorts, I can wear shorts. I don't have to worry about the poison ivy. But yeah, what a difference compared to the snowshoeing. And the grass is so nice here. If I had this fenced off, I wouldn't have to worry about my horses being on sand. Definitely have more of these flowers growing here now. And whew, that's quite the ant pile right there. I wonder who's digging this up. Skunks, maybe? Thank you, Javita. Hi, Troy. Somebody's been digging at the ant piles. We don't have ant eaters out here. See, the flowers are even growing all the way out here. So it's like they expanded all the way across the ravine. I keep thinking that I'm near the end, but it just keeps going and going. I think I'm going to end up paying for this. I think I'm walking through Virginia creeper, which is okay, but I don't know if there's poison ivy underneath it. Oh, cool. There's a bird watching me at the end there. I don't know if you guys can see him. If you had a good camera, you could get some awesome shots if you were patient enough to wait for the animals. Oh, having problems getting through a tree here. And the flowers just keep going all the way through. This definitely needs to be chopped through. I can't even see the path anymore. Walking through thistles. What danger. You know what? I don't worry about the animals because I know the dogs would protect me. I'm sure if animals were going to travel across my property, they'd be using this ravine as a pathway. But what you just heard there is exactly, well, I can't get lost on my own property, Jen. It's not that big. But that means he found something. But I'm going to guess it's probably just a squirrel. Heaven forbid finding a porcupine right now. Yes, I saw the Norwegian. Oh, Javita, I think I've been running my ankles through poison ivy this whole way. But yeah, I like that house that Norwegian got. And he said he was going to take out that bed. I love that bed. I would leave it for a conversation piece because it looks so cool. There's Bo. I think we're almost out of the woods. Woohoo! There we go. Do I have any minutes left there? I hear ducks. You know I have water behind these trees. When you can hear 8 minutes. 8 minutes is going to be exactly enough for me to walk up this hill. Sorry if you guys are getting a wind now. I can hear that hawk again. But I'm gonna pan to, here's the hill I'm walking up. You see me snowshoe this way. But I know exactly where my corner is now. And I didn't venture out there, but I watched the survey guys do it. Whew. Can you hear the hawk? There he is. Do you see him in the sky? I don't know if I'm showing him. Oh, cool. I can't see him on the camera. I can only see him in real person. But I was trying to pan the camera on him. I think it sounds so cool, that piercing cry they have. Okay. Gotta do this fast. There should be a marker out here. But it's so cool to know where your edge is. Because I would never, where I'm walking right now, I would never go there. Because I didn't know if I was onto their property or not. But now I kind of know. Sort of. I feel like I'm lost now. There's quad tracks here, so I know we went this way. And look at all the purple grass. There's the seeds. I should take some seeds with me. Yeah, I think I went too far. Oh well. I'm just gonna try and show you. I know that there's dead trees on the other side. Maybe I'd have to move up the hill more. Yeah, I can't really see it from this side here. How many minutes did you say? 5 minutes. Okay. I know that there's 2 oak trees that I'm supposed to be looking through, and I think they might be over on my right side. I'm facing west right now, but this is close enough. If I hold my camera just like this, I'm trying to center. You see a shorter bush in front of me, and in the distance you see the farther forest, and there's a dead tree right in the center of the screen. That is where my property corner is. So if I pan to the south, that ravine that I walk through, this whole hillside, I could have all of this fenced in and have plenty of grass for my horses. Plus the fact that this closer bush here, on the other side of it is water. It's like a boggy area. If I were to show you one day and walk through there, there's cattails and everything in there. And that is about, from the point I'm standing at, it's about 100 meters, which is around 300 feet. And I could get all of that dug up into a dugout and have a little pond area here. So one day, that's the dream. But anyway, I'm gonna end it here because a couple minutes ago it was a 5-minute warning. And that's the plan, Jen. It's a little bit at a time. I can't afford it all in 1 year, but maybe over 3 or 4 years. I'm gonna start with the area that's closest to the yard where Rain and Jack are and just slowly work on it. So thank you everyone for coming into my live. It was great to be out again. And I don't know, maybe we'll see you over at MT. I'm gonna tune into MT as I walk back to the house. But maybe we'll see you next Sunday as well. Thanks again. See you next time.